Hello everyone, Jeff with the Green Review. Today we're going to be talking about plant groups. There are more ways to classify plants than by their genetic relationships. For instance, they can be grouped by their general form or shape, flower and seed anatomy, by their life cycle, how long they keep their leaves, flower type, by how they're used, lots of different ways. Specialized gardens such as water gardens and vegetable gardens may redefine plant classifications to fit their needs. A perennial from the tropics may be used as an annual in a container, or may be called heat-loving in the vegetable garden, or called a tropical in the water garden. So let's start with how plants can be grouped by their form. Non-vascular spore plants, algae, moss, and other primitive plants, can form large colonies, grow a variety of structures, and may be several inches tall, but they don't move water and nutrients through a vascular system, and they reproduce by spores. Vascular spore plants, ferns, horsetails, and a few others, produce spores, not seeds, but they do have vascular tissue to move water and nutrients. And then there are the vascular seed plants. Herbaceous plants, shrubs, and trees have vascular tissue that water and nutrients move through. Most reproduce through seeds, but a few spread primarily by roots, rhizomes, and stolons. Another way plants can be grouped is by flower anatomy. Vascular seed plants can be gymnosperms or angiosperms. Gymnosperms have cones, not flowers and fruit. Common gymnosperms include conifers, pines, spruces, etc., cycads, and ginkgos. A little what's this mean to me here? Even though gymnosperms have cones and not flowers or fruit, they're commonly referred to as flowers and fruit. For instance, a juniper berry is actually a cone. Angiosperm seed embryos are enclosed so that the pollen must grow a tube to penetrate the seed coat. Angiosperms have flowers that produce fruit with seeds that contain endosperm. These are distinctions that we'll have little practical use for, but you may see the terms used in books. Angiosperms comprise most of all the land plants and can be further divided into two groups called monocots and dicots. Monocots are characterized by having one seed leaf, or cotyledon, that's where the cot comes from. Their flower parts are in multiples of threes. The leaf veins run lengthwise, nearly parallel to each other. The monocot vascular system is comprised of scattered bundles of tubes. Dicots have two seed leaves, or cotyledons. The flower parts are typically in multiples of fours or fives, and the leaf veins have a network design. The vascular tissue is produced in a ring-like pattern that permits annual growth rings, allowing the stem to grow in diameter. Common monocots include amaryllis, cannas, daffodils, grasses, hostas, irises, lilies, onions, orchids, palms, tulips, and a lot more. Dicots include all the other plants. Another what's this mean to me? Monocots and dicots are different from each other chemically, especially as they sprout from seeds. This allows us to treat weeds from one group growing in the other group, such as a grass, a monocot, growing in a flower bed of dicots, or a dandelion, a dicot, growing in a lawn of monocot. Plants can be grouped by flower type. Monoecious plants have separate male and female flowers on the same plant, like this squash, or on oaks and corn, and many others. Dioecious plants have male and female flowers on different plants, like hollies, asparagus, and many others. What's this mean to me? Whether you want fruit or you want to prevent fruit, it is important to know if the plant can do so on its own or if another plant is required. If you only have male dioecious plants, there will be no fruit, but there may be too much pollen. Plants are often grouped by life cycle. Annuals are plants that complete their life cycle of seed, growth, flowering, and back to seed again in all one year, and often in just one season. Summer annuals sprout in the warmth of spring and die in the summer or fall. Winter annuals sprout in the fall, lie dormant until spring, and die during the summer heat. What's this mean to me? Annual weeds require different weed control treatment timing depending on whether they are summer or winter annuals. Biennials are best treated in the first vegetative year. If annuals and biennials are prevented from flowering, no new seeds are produced and the plants will die no matter what. Many perennials are grown as garden annuals. Begonias, coleus, geraniums, impatiens, petunias, and tomatoes are all perennials in their native habitats that we throw away at the end of summer. Biennials complete their life cycle in 2 years. They grow leaves and roots the first year. They go dormant, and in the second year they flower, produce seeds, and die. Cabbage, carrots, foxglove, hollyhocks, lettuce, Queen Anne's lace, and some thistles are biennials. A perennial comes back year after year. There may be a dormant period each year based on cold, drought, or other factors. It may not flower and produce fruit for many years. Some are short-lived, and others may live thousands of years. Herbaceous perennials have a dormant period where the above-ground leaves and stems and many below-ground roots die, leaving new growth to come from crowns, dormant roots, or underground stems. Some herbaceous perennials may have deciduous or evergreen varieties depending on weather or variety, such as some daylilies. Woody perennials sprout new growth from above-ground stems that may or may not have been dormant. Another what's this mean to me? Some plants have the appearance of different life cycles depending on where they are growing. Crepe myrtles, Lagerstromia genus, and butterfly bush, the Buddleia genus, grow it to be small trees in the southern states. They form large shrubs in the middle of the country because every few years the above-ground stems and trunks are killed by winter weather. New growth comes back from the roots and may remain alive for several years, gaining height and the shape of a shrub. Farther north, these plants are treated as perennials that die back to the ground every winter and are sometimes completely killed. Another what's this mean to me? How would you classify your house plants or your garden plants? Many herbaceous and woody perennial plants are used as temporary annual plants. A geranium is a perennial that is often used as a summer annual pot plant and thrown away at the end of the season. Amaryllis, azaleas, Easter lilies, poinsettias, and many others are used as decorative houseplants for a short time, but they could live a long time if planted in the proper environmental conditions outdoors. Trees are often grouped as softwoods or hardwoods. How you will be using the wood from a tree will determine what kind of tree you will want to get the wood from. Wood has a wide variety of characteristics based on how hard or soft it is, such as rot and insect resistance, flexibility, density, color, and fragrance. Many conifer trees are grouped as softwoods, and many deciduous trees are grouped as hardwoods. Plants can be grouped by leaf retention. Evergreen plants keep their leaves for more than one growing season. Many broadleaf plants are evergreen even in northern climates, such as boxwoods, hollies, and some rhododendrons. Evergreen leaves are not permanent. They all fall off eventually. Sometimes the individual leaf only stays on 1 year, and on other plants that they may remain for 3 or more years. When they do fall off, they may fall off individually, or all of the leaves that started in 1 year may all fall off within a few days or weeks of each other. The leaves may fall off in the fall or in the spring as new growth starts to replace them. Deciduous plants lose their leaves as the plant goes into its seasonal dormancy. Some conifer gymnosperm plants that have needles for leaves are deciduous, such as bald cypress, larch, and tamarack. Both evergreen and deciduous plants may lose leaves if the environmental conditions change. The leaves may drop if the plant is exposed to hot or dry weather. Another what's this mean to me? Evergreen plants that lose their old leaves all at once often concern the owner that the plant is suddenly dying. Plants are often grouped by leaf arrangement. Leaves may be attached to a plant opposite another leaf alternating down the stem, one on one side and the next on the other side, or in groups whorled around the same spot on the stem. These three attachment types are easily known as opposite, alternate, and whorled. Very often, the leaf attachment method is one of the first things used to identify a tree or shrub. As you can see, plants can be grouped in many ways. This has been A Greener View. Thanks for watching.